Hey guys, I'm Noah from Pushing Veronica, and I'm about to teach you how to play Reason to Cry on bass. So to start, we're all tuned down a half step. I use a 5 string. We all come in at the verse. That's the first verse. You start with the 7th fret A string, and you do 2/8 notes there, and then you do 2/8 notes on the 5th fret of the D string. And then the first time you go open A to 2nd fret on the A string, and then you go to the 3rd fret on the C string, and then you slide up to the 6th fret. And then you repeat the first part of that, 7th, 5th, but then this time you don't do the open string, you just do 2 notes on the 2nd fret. And then you go to the 5th fret of the D string, and then down to the 4th fret, and then the 2nd fret of the A string again, and then you go into the 3rd fret again. Slide back up to the 6th, then you repeat that. This time you do the open again, and then you do open, 2nd fret, 5th fret, and then back down to the 3rd fret, all on the A string. And then the last time you go, do the same thing, 7th, 5th, and then no open. And then with your low B string, you start with an open, and then you slide up to the 12th, and then back down. And then to the 3rd. You call that a moose. I didn't make that up. It's a true thing. And then back to the 3rd. And then this time you wait 2 beats instead of 1 before doing the on the 6th. This is what the first chorus sounds like. So the rhythmic pattern that repeats throughout the chorus goes 1 and, en, 3 and, en, 1 and, en, 3 and, 4 and. So you start on the 5th fret of the E string. So 5, and then down to 3, and then up to the 2nd fret of the A string. So it sounds. And then you go 3rd fret of the E string, 5th fret of the E string, 2nd fret of the A string, back down to the 3rd fret of the E string. So it sounds like this. And then you go to the 3rd fret of the A string, up to the 5th fret, and then back down to the 2nd fret. And then you go 5, 4, 2 on the D string, down to 2 on the A string. And then you go all the way up to the 7th fret of the A string, and then down to the 5th fret, and then down back to the 2nd fret, and then you do the same thing as before, the 3, 5, 2, 3 on the lower strings, and then you go to the 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the A string, and then open on the E string for a whole note. And then that brings you into the post-chorus. So that entire section is based around octaves. So you start, it's the same chords as the verses, but you just do some funky octave stuff. So you start on the 7th fret of the A string, and then up an octave to the 9th fret of the G string, back down to the 7, and then down to the 5th of the B string, and then up to the 12th of the G string, down to the 10th of the A string, down to the 8th of the B string. So it sounds like this. And then all the way down to the 2nd fret of the A string, to open B, to 2nd fret, up an octave to the 4th fret on the G, and then you pause, and then it goes back and forth between 5th fret on the G string, 3rd fret on the A string, 1st fret on the B string, and then slide up to the 6th, just like you would in the verse. So the second verse is very similar to the first verse. The first 3 quarters of it are exactly the same, so only the last 4 bars change. Starts in the same place on the 7th fret of the A string, and then to the 5th fret of the D string, and then open, and then 2nd fret on the A string. And then here's where it goes 12, 11, 9 on the G string, and then back down to the normal 3, and then it goes into the chorus again. Second chorus is also very similar to the first chorus, where the first half of it is the same, and then the second half changes a little bit. So it starts with the same first half. Here, instead of going all the way up to the 7, it goes down to the 5th fret of the B string, and then down to the 3rd fret, and then all the way up to the 12th fret of the B string, and then 8, 10 on the B string, 7 on the E string, back down to 8 on the B string, and then here it goes solid 8th notes, 13, 13, 13, 13, 12, 12, 12, 12, and then open E, and that slides up to the octave at 12, and then back down. So I'm going to split the bridge into 2 halves, the lighter half and the heavier half. This is how the lighter half sounds. So this part of the bridge is a lot of back and forth, up and down the neck stuff. So it starts on the open E string, and then slides up to the 12th fret, and then back down to the open, and then slides to the 9th, up to the 12th, and then again open to the 12th, and then here it goes 10, 12, 10 on the A string, back down 12, 10 on the E string, 12, 10, 8 on the B string, 5, 7 on the A string, 5, 7 on the D string, 7, 9 on the G string, and then it goes the same thing as the first time. So So the heavy part of the bridge starts the same way as the lighter part does, with the open E string. And then it goes up to the 10th fret on that E string, 10, 12, to 10 on the A string, back down to 12 on the E string. And then it does a similar thing. Open, 10, 12 on the E string, 10, 12, 10 on the A string. And then again, same thing as the first time. And then here it does a little bit of an interesting rhythm, but it which is the 8th fret on the E string to the 7th fret on the A string to the 10th fret on the A string, and then the same thing 2 frets up. So 10 on the E, 9 on the A, and 12 on the A. And then it goes back to repeating the same thing. And here it does something a little bit different. It does 8th note triplets on that same 8th fret on the E string up to the 10th fret on the A string, and then the same thing 2 frets up, the 10th fret of the E string to the 12th fret of the A string, and then it does 16th notes from the 8th fret to the 10th fret of the E string, and then it goes all the way down to the 1st fret on the B string, and then it mooses up to the 13th fret on the B string, and then the same thing 2 frets up, so the third fret to the 15th, and then just open E, and it slides slowly up the octave to the 12. That's all there is to it. At PVBassOfficial on Instagram if you have any questions. Good luck!